And good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's live stream. Hopefully, everybody's okay. Yeah, I'm back on the Linux Mint, and there is a very good reason. Zorin is safe, but there was a few strange things happening to me on Zorin 17 and 18, and both seem to have exactly the same issues. So this afternoon I downloaded a fresh copy of Linux Mint and installed it. And the reason was I just wanted to try a few things out to see if it was Zorin or whether it's hardware issues. So I bought down Linux Mint Xfce, as you can see, using the 418, and everything just registers properly, whereas on the Zorin it doesn't. And like I say, there's a few little things. I mean, look, it's totally safe, and I guess that's the beauty of having a wodge of SSDs. And Zorin is all backed up, as you saw from Timeshift. So it's all good, but I just wanted to test a few things out just to see if it was Zorin OS or if it was my hardware. The things were niggles more than game breakers, but nevertheless I thought, well, I'll have a look. I don't know what's going on with YouTube at the minute. It's all over the shop, it really is. It says there's 3 concurrent viewers there, 6 concurrent viewers there. Absolutely mental. Now, I've also been watching a lot of Windows videos. Oh my God. People bitching and whining and whinging about Windows 10 and upgrading to Windows 11. Just upgrade to Linux. You know, I know, yeah, oh, a lot of people can't. It's not that easy. You know, I mean, look, probably the majority of home users can upgrade to Linux because all they do is a bit of the internet, a bit of online banking, bit of shopping, bit of YouTube, bit of watching ITVX. So, you know, those sorts of people. Hey up, Steve, how you diddly doing? Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Hope you are. Well, the thing is, Cody, nothing's happened to Zorin. It's perfectly safe and installed on SSD and fully backed up to this 1 terabyte HDD. But this afternoon I downloaded a fresh ISO of Linux Mint Xfce, which is what we're running here. And I wanted to test a few things out. Now, the first thing that both Zorin OS 17 Lite and Zorin OS 18 did was when I switched the PC on, it would get to the Zorin logo, and sometimes it would boot and sometimes it wouldn't. And it was a bit of a pain in the arse. Now, obviously with Linux Mint, I've installed it, switched the PC on, bang, it boots. So I don't know what's going on there. Strange thing number 2 was the audio. The audio's all over the shop on Zorin. Really, really weird. And of course on Linux Mint, rock solid. Third was the nVidia drivers. Again on Zorin, beautiful when it works, but a bit all over the place. And then there's other little niggles as well. So let me load up World of Warships very quickly. Hopefully this will work okay because I'm streaming the whole PC, which I wouldn't normally do. Microsoft finally announced a fix for the slow file manager in Windows 11. and I'm not kidding, their fix is they are going to preload it on boot. Oh my fucking god! It's a bit like using prefetch for your browser, pre-caching it up. They're just using more and more resources. I mean, this is a Windows 10 class PC, and I'm just so happy I'm not running either Windows 10 or 11. I love my Casio. Zorin is absolutely fine, but again, it's just little weird things that are present in the Zorin OS that are not in Linux Mint. Now, the other big advantage, of course, is this version of Linux Mint is supported until 2029, whereas the Zorin OS 17 is only supported until 2026. So I get an extra 3 years longevity out of this. And they also announced AI agent thing in Notepad. Oh, best of luck with that. I mean, you're literally not going to have any processing power left because it's all going to be taken up by Microsoft. Okay, so let's have a go. And let's see what happens. Let's see if the Zorin bug is present here. Now with Zorin OS, to zoom in the size, the default key is Shift. If I use the Shift key, it's all over the place. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. If I remap the Shift key to another key, it works fine. But hey, I want to use the default Shift key because it's convenient on the keyboard. Just saying. So let's try it out on Mint. And they also announced, AI agent. It's just, honestly, Microsoft is bloatware. And that's before you get to third-party software. It really is. Okay, so we'll just let it load up. My headphones are wrecked, by the way, so if the audio's terrible, it's down to the headphones. Not the operating system or the hardware. I mean, they've done the service, bless them. They've been absolutely thrashed. Logitech Pros. So far, been on Fedora KDE for 2 weeks and been enjoying it. Good for you, Cody. Good for you. Well, I thought I'd got my distro for 2026. Hey up MS3515, how you diddly doing? But it looks like we're going to be on Mint. I mean, that plus the fact that Craig Lilly threatened to buy me a 2 weeks all expenses paid holiday to the boonies if I didn't switch. That might have had some bearing on it, good old Craig. Now I know Linux is not perfect, but I'm willing to deal with the downside of Linux. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. But the thing is, right, Linux is not perfect in certain use cases. You know, if you're playing games with anti-cheat, kernel level software, if you're using Microsoft Office 365 and all that malarkey, but how many home users are actually doing that? Oh yeah, none. Just saying. No, I never will try it, Steve, but thank you for the recommendation, because I've always had a personal beef with Red Hat, always, and it's something that's very personal to me. And if you love you know, Fedora, Nabara, Red Hat, Bazite, knock yourself out, great. But for me, as long as I draw breath, I will never use any of those operating systems, because I have an avid dislike of Red Hat. Hey up, Endasser, how you diddly doing? So, you know, I mean, it's just not here, look. It works perfectly on the Linux Mint, and it's terrible on Zorin. Really, that was a country mile away. That could be my bad aiming, of course. And I am in the Macassar, when all's said and done. And the Macassar can't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. But see, as soon as I touched the shift key, I'm zoomed in. Whereas on the Zorin, that don't work. So they've obviously done something to it, haven't they? And it's the same on Zorin OS 17 Lite as it is on Zorin OS 18 Core. So, you know, some things are a bit awry there, just saying. And, you know, there's too many inconsistencies and minor niggles for it to be me or my hardware. And hence that's why I've gone back onto Linux Mint, because Linux Mint is kind of, you know, a safe haven, isn't it? Let's be honest. If you're guffing it up on Linux Mint, well, you know, you may as well load the Windows up. Sounds like Xfce issue with zooming. Yeah, could well be correct, because they do heavily customise the Xfce, and also it's the same on GNOME. So it must be something to do with their customization, but it's just not present anywhere in Linux Mint. So I'm just really glad it's not me. So hence that's why I've gone to Mint, because of all these strange little niggles and bizarre happenings. You know, and I've got a couple of niggles on Zorin with Steam. Again, nothing that's a deal breaker, but it's incredibly annoying when it shouldn't really be there in the first place, if you know what I mean. Look, Macassar. Couldn't hit a cow's arse with a fucking banjo. Zorin Lite is Xfce. Oh, I understand what you're saying. Jolly good. Hey up, John JP, how you diddly doing? I played this yesterday on CashOS and the zoom wasn't working. I was on GNOME. So, there you go. Maybe it's a GNOME thing, stroke Zorin customisation of Xfce. But hey up, Jeff, lovely to see you. But it's definitely not present here on Linux Mint, for sure. As you can see, I've only got to touch the shift key, it works, and all the nVidia drivers have installed properly first time on Linux Mint, where I kind of had to go a bit up the elephant round the castle to get them in on Zorin. So, you know, and I just thought, well, look, I can stay on Zorin and do nothing and live with it, or I can make the jump now before 2026. And, you know, I mean, I could have easily put CashOS on, because I love the Cache. It's a fantastic distro. But I think, well, you know, it's Arch and there's a gazillion updates every day. I want to update sort of once a week at most. You know, I don't want to be doing a bajillion updates every day, if you know what I mean. So, anyway, I've kind of ended up on the safe haven of Linux Mint, supported until 2029. I've got my beloved Xfce interface, and look, it's solid in it. I've got it fully backed up. I've tested the restores. I wonder how many of you actually do that with your systems. Just saying, not gloating, just pointing it out. So yeah, that's why I've kind of bit the bullet and made the jump. Now, I mean, everything, as I say, on the Zorin is safe. Everything is doubly backed up. But, you know, I mean, the problem is Linux Mint, it's just fantastic. It just works, doesn't it? And at the end of the day, is that not what we all want? You know, it just works. I've about capped. That was a bit poor for the Mikasa. 23,000 damage. But then again, you know, it can't hit for shit, that's for sure. He's going away. So, actually installing Linux Mint has resolved all my issues. The other thing that was a bit weird was I didn't have on Zorin, either Zorins, silky smooth operation in games. Which is again, yeah. If you remap the key, John, it works. But you shouldn't have to remap the key because the shift key is pretty darn gorgeous. So now this is the first run. I've not run this yet. I've only bought 4 games down. The 4 games that I want to play and stream, and I've done, you know, the Linux Mint thumbnails for them and all the rest of it. I'm a little bit gutted that I couldn't stay on Zorin. But again, Farm Simulator 17, which should run like a bitch on any Linux operating system, was absolutely plagued full of microstutters. Euro Truck, American Truck, microstutters. Really weird. It must be the way that Zorin have implemented excuse me, the nVidia drivers. Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're talking about Zorin as a media PC, watching YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, you know, Netflix, Dodgy Box, whatever, fine, no problem. But you know, you'd expect it, this sort of game, to absolutely run like a bitch. It's got more than enough resources. I can't see that because of that. Windowed mode is off, bright field of view. I like that on 90. Whereas on the Linux Mint, it just runs like it's on a £5,000 PC. Let's save that away. And as I say, normally I wouldn't dream of streaming the whole PC when I'm playing games. And I just could not do this at all on the Zorin, no matter what I tried on the Zorin. This was just an absolute stuttery mess. And I just could not get my head around it because it's, you know, the game itself uses nothing. And we are on an RTX. Is it Wayland versus X? Well, that's a really interesting shout, Jeff, because I mean, look at this. This is just, well, for me anyway, it's just spider silk. But that is a great shout because Zorin 18 comes with Wayland by default out the box. Now, if you do what I did and switch it to X, you get all sorts of shenanigans going on. I mean, that is just how it should be. That's spider silk. But on Zorin OS, it was so stuttery. It was unbelievable. You know, this is what I want my farming to be. Relaxing, fun and enjoyable, not a stuttery mess. Yeah, it could well be. Oh, it's a bit of an anomaly, Jeff. The thing is, if you run Zorin with Wayland and download OBS as a flat pack, it comes with pipe wire inbuilt. You can't run the standard screen capture for X in Wayland. It just don't work. So you've got to use pipe wire for both your screen capture and your audio. And look, it isn't there yet. It's not the finished article, and it's a bit of a mess. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a mess. It's, you know, so there's a lot, and these little tiny niggles over time start building up, and you start to think, well, hang on, you know, I've been on Linux all these years. Am I really that fucking incompetent and incapable? The farm looks great, Ebeez. Thank you, Bet. So that's why I've bit the bullet and just gone to Mint, and we'll just stay on Mint for 2026, the whole of, you know. And then when I load the games up that I want to play and stream and test them out, and they run like spider silk on the Mint, you know, light dawns on Marble Head that actually it's not me that's incompetent, it's something fundamentally wrong with Zorin. Whether it's their theming, whether it's the components, whether it's the way they set it up, whether it's the packages they include, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. So, you know, I've gone back to Mint as my daily driver, and I so just want to stay on one operating system forever, and Mint is probably it, because I've got my games installed. I've got OBS, I've got my GIMP. You know, there's really nothing more than I need. You know, Mint Xfce comes with Firefox out the box, so, and that's another thing. You know, Zorin comes with Brave out the box. What a weird choice for any distro to choose Brave as the default web browser. Now, if you uninstall it, which is fine, which I did, you then get errors every time you try and update it. So you go to try and remove the repository entry or the PPA entry, and it's not there. So, again, I don't know how Zorin have set up their Brave repository. It's really weird. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Well, this is definitely Xorg. This is not Wayland, for all the reasons I've listed. And for me, using Wayland at this moment in time on Linux is a little bit like using Zorin. It's beautiful, it's fantastic, it looks amazing, but over time there are so many little niggles that you're almost getting back into a Windows experience where there's so many things that are pissing you off, you actually just stop enjoying the operating system, and you spend most of your time trying to resolve issues rather than spending, you know, the most precious commodity you will ever have in life, which is your time, doing what you want to do, which should be gaming. Simple as that. But as you can see, I mean, this is just spider silk. You know, there's not a stutter in sight. Silky smooth. It looks fantastic. You know. So really, I suppose I should have called the stream "What the fuck is going on, Zorin?" But you know, with so many poor fuckers out there having to suffer the Windows 10 and 11 shenanigans, what have I got to complain about? Nothing. You know, the only thing I need to do is get myself a new headset, which I'm sure somebody will take care of. Just saying. I can't remember what the beacon key is. Oh well. Yeah, that's okay. I thought it was O, maybe not. So, I've kind of bit the bullet pre-Christmas and gone back onto Linux Mint, and I just hope to stay here. I've put it on a 500 gig SSD, and she's running terrific. I'll update it once a week. I'll just play my games that I love, i.e. my SWOTA, my World of Warships, my farming, and Open Morrowind will be my offline game of choice. So Farming Simulator and Morrowind are both offline, World of Warships and SWOTA are both online. Home key for beacon, yeah, I thought it was, it's not working. As you can see, weird. That's a bit weird. Yeah, I love it to bits. It's such a relaxing game, and I do enjoy it. And you know, I've got another farm with a very, very good friend, and we've not played it of late, but it's always there, saved in the cloud, ready to be used at a moment's notice. And you know, Farm Sim is one of those amazing games that is great fun to play on your own, and is even more fun to play with others. And for me, 17 is the perfect iteration of the game. I mean, I've got them all. I think 19, 22 and 25 try to do too much and be too realistic, and they remove the fun out of the game. I think 17 is a lovely balance between realism and quality of life. I really do. But that's just my opinion. So that's my World of Warships, that's my Farm Simulator. Absolutely tickety-boo on the Linux Mint. So the other one, of course, is Star Wars The Old Republic, which I'm just thrashing at the minute, day and night. I'm just so back into it. Its heroic launch is still great. Yep, absolutely. And the thing is, don't forget, Steam is your friendly powerhouse. So rather than using a lot of these launchers, oh, what am I doing? Hate my fingers sometimes, I tell you. Rather than using a lot of these launchers, you can use the power of Steam to do all this stuff. You really can, and it's just amazing. So I'll run out Morrowind. Morrowind is the only one that's running natively. The other three are all running via Proton. And I've already created my 4 thumbnails for my live streams on Linux Mint. All my thumbnails on Zorin are safe. Everything's all backed up and tested because I'm old school. Yes, the dev is ditching Windows. I'm going to make it work on Linux. Play Night is coming to Linux Phone. Yeah. But again, I mean, the thing that, I mean, that just looks fantastic. It really does. The thing here, I don't really know. I can't remember the last time I used Lutris, Jeff. Just run everything via Proton on Steam. It runs beautifully, and it's nice and easy, and there's no twatting about, and it just saves hours of your life. It really do. I mean, look at that. What more do you want? Absolutely fantastic. Spider Silk, even though we're on the US server, and the US server is, I like to call it, a bit sticky compared to Darth Malgus on the EU server. You know, I'm transmitting the internet signal half the way around the world, so it really shouldn't come as any surprise to me that it's a bit sticky in certain places, which, you know, look, it's fine. On my main, yeah. But of course, this is, I want to have a main on every server. So you really don't want to see Darth Malgus, but anyway, I'm a legendary player on Darth Malgus. Everything is done. Oh, cinematics. So on Darth Malgus, my main is a legendary, 33 characters on Darth Malgus. But I want one level 80 on Starforge, Satil Shan and Shay Vizsla. I'm not bothered about the French or the German, although I could do that as kind of a long-term project. So there's my main. Her name is Vestira Kai. It is a real name from Star Wars, and she's a level 80 sorcerer. She's worked her way through about everything, but what I have started doing on Darth Malgus is recreating genuine Star Wars characters, both from the game and from the Star Wars films, which I just think is really, really cool. So that's my main, and you know, I mean, she's just got, it's just never ending, is it? You know what I mean? It's just one of them games where you can just go forever, and that's normally not what she'd wear. Yeah, she's got the Darth Nihilus outfit, which is really nice. Really? You want to get fresh with it, really? Oh my god. You know, and I've got unique armors and unique pets and blah 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 blah. So she's legendary. They're all legendary on here actually, because I've completed all the class stories. I'm not bothered about that on all the other servers. I'd just like a max level 80 character on each server, and yes, I could boost them, I could cheese it. This is the latest one that I'm bringing up on Darth Malgus, and he differs from the other server characters. So on Darth Malgus, I only do main purple storyline quests, which is what he's done. Whereas on all the other servers, I try and do as much of the content as I possibly can. But I try to recreate the characters faithfully as they appear in the game. So fun alt. So that's the proper fun alt. And you know, to recreate them faithfully isn't easy. You think, well, that's not so hard, is it, Ebeez, really? Yeah, it is. Fuck me. It's very, very hard to recreate them faithfully. You know, and it's also paying attention to detail. Like with his weapon, it's the Legends Vibroblade, which you get from Tatooine, I think it is, and you know, you can dye it and add your crystals and your special effects to it, like the lightning coming off of it, whereas the normal ones on starter planets you can't. You know, and it's stuff like that which I really, really enjoy. For the rest of the servers, it's just a case of pottering, really. And I've chosen a trooper for the most populated one, which is Starforge. because I think on the Starforge server I've got the best chance of doing all the group content that I would probably struggle with on the other servers, because you can pug it on Starforge, you can't really pug it on all the others. So I've took some doing Ebeez, it's going to take some doing. He's going to do as much as he possibly can on every planet, every scrap of content, and it will be the same on the other servers. Once I get him to level 80, which should be way before chapter 4, he will ding level 80. I shall drop him like a brick, and I don't know if I've done it on the other two actually, probably not. I think I've done it on Sata Shan. I think I've created a trooper there, but again I was testing out all the new skin colours. Yeah. So broken Ebeez on Sata Shan, he's only level 3 of course. Again a Vanguard, only because I know them and I know how to play them and they're easy to play. Xfce, which of course is the Australian one, I've no idea what I've got on here. I've probably created... Oh, it's Jeff! It's our Jeff. That's what I've got on Xfce. So I'll play through Xfce as Jeff. Only thing he's missing is a dude, really. I think that's a great representation of Jeff, I really do. It even looks like Jeff. Anyway, just saying. So yeah, that's the plan with SWTOR. Now of course on Starforge you do have two other characters which I've made, which I just cannot bring myself to delete. One is low spec Ebeez, I'll probably delete that because I've got the trooper, and the other is the legendary Corey from starter area. That I don't know what that is all about, but anyway we can delete that. And just leave the two on there. So I've got one dark side, one light side. I'd like to have both to level 80 if possible. Those are long-term goals. Anyway, that's me Star Wars The Old Republic all sorted out. And last but not least, we've got the Open Morrowind latest version 50 installed. I've not brought over all the mods and everything else onto my Linux Mint install, partly because it's already fully installed and set up on the Zorin that way, and partly because I just wanted a pure vanilla experience. And I keep saying this, you know, one of these days I will actually get to do a full playthrough. Now, I've created something which I'll probably come a right Roy Cropper on, and I've never created before. I've created a battle mage, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing. And there he is, look. And of course, there's no mods at all installed. And this is just Open Morrowind graphics, and love it. I love it.
Speak freely,
it's great, and it gives me that look and feel of the vanilla Morrowind experience. And I've not got any booster or cheat mods in, and you know, I get to experience it purely vanilla, which is really what I wanted. And it's just running beautifully. Now normally I would be doing this as a window and you wouldn't see all this chat here. So, you know, I mean, look, it's what it is. I need to have a look what his what his skills are. So his major skills: heavy armor and axe. Really? Cripes. A battle mage. Okay, heavy armor. Well, I'm guessing that he's going to. And I know this is a bit OCD-ish, isn't it? But I do like to make it so number one. Just saying. Let me just put that there for lining up purposes. I know this is a little bit OCD-ish, for which I kind of apologise. But I do like this all lined up and looking tickety-boo. I don't know why, I just do. I don't usually suffer with OCD, I do assure you, but you know, I do like this all to line up properly and just look nice on the screen whenever I open it up. And there we go. So if we go to the world map, you'll see I've only got the vanilla map installed, and I think we've got more than enough to contend with that. We do have marksman and long blade, but basically he's an axe wielding, plated armor mage son of a bitch, and I've never played this race before neither, and I think he's high elf. I think he is. I think. And you know what? That's fine. But at least it gives me a chance to experience the game properly, rather than, you know, having all this shenanigans going on. We've got an axe. Have we got a not yet? Iron war axe. We'll take that. We only need one. And I'm guessing that by the time he's got all his kit on, I mean, he's only got 200 carry weight, so I'm guessing he's not going to be able to loot feck all. So, you know, I mean, it's all the while it's a trade-off, isn't it? Armor rating 2. Really? Armor rating 10 on the shield. The other thing that we need to do, so we've spent 200, we've got nearly 800, so we'll take those and is that all there is? The chitting short bow. Well, I guess it is. Okay, so we'll offer him that, and let's kit him out. I didn't see the 100. Let's start and get some of this shite on him. Now, as I say, he's supposedly a battle mage. Best of luck with that. So you see, he's already up to 120 or 200. So he ain't going to be able to scav much, is he? You know, he's going to have to be pretty choice about what he scavs. Now, The other thing, do we go with the chitting short bow and not the axe and the shield, which is a possibility? What's his archery? Oh, it's marksman. It's only 15. Axe is 30, so that's not even an option. He's going to have to use the axe and shield, isn't he? Otherwise, he's going to be getting his little chubby tight ass handed to him, as befits Jeff on a regular basis. Sorry, Jeff. So, yeah, I mean, that's really about it. Let's do the Jeff key, quick save, and let's go and take the quest here. Oh my god. The other thing I do love about it is that because he's so heavily battled up, he actually walks like he needs to take a shit, you know, because he's got all this heavy armour on and all these heavy weapons. Now actually, if I go to options, I should be able to always use best attack on, subtitles off, crosshair on, audio, music. I want the music on, but I want it down low. I think everything else is set up via
Outlander, what do you want?
Open Morrowind. So we've taken that quest, so let's go and see if it can. I mean, it's going to take him, like, you know, 3 fecking years to get anywhere walking at this speed. And also, what does he start out with? Bound dagger, fire bite. So okay, and we can also do the fire bite, but again, you know, he's got such a small pool, both in terms of health and mana. You know, here I'd expect him to drown. Because he's that laden down with armour. Look, look. Oh my fucking god! I love it. I love it. And that's the trial and the tribulations, and that's the trade-off that you pay for having a mage that's a heavily armoured battle mage. Really? So, let's see if we can get our arses handed to us. Thanks, Robert. Hey up, Dobby, how you diddly doing? Well, that went really well. So maybe axe. So we need to get him either a silver axe or a special axe for certain dungeons. Yeah, he's, you know, definitely fine. Let's go and find. Oh my god, it's going to take me forever to find the taxman. But is that not the charm and the immersion of the game that you lose when you start modding? You know, you lose all this kind of game imposed limitations and frustrations and quality of life. But aren't those what make the game what it is? You know, I could pop a couple of mods in there. You know, we can have unlimited carry weight. We can fly around the world unlimited, blah, blah, blah. But when you've actually got to learn the systems and try and get the best out of the systems, isn't that half the fun? I think it is. And, you know, don't get me wrong, whilst I absolutely love modding to bits and really enjoy all the modding, I love it to bits, it's great fun. By the same token, you do tend to lose the essence of the game when you're modding, because you've got all these really, really cool mods. I can't believe I've not one-shotted this little shit. Xfce. But I think, you know, that's the trade-off that inevitably you end up suffering, because, you know, mods just negate all these limitations, and mods bypass the need for you to learn the game or learn the systems. And I think, you know, that's half the charm of the game. How does Cinnamon stack up to Xfce? I used to hate Cinnamon with a vengeance. I absolutely love Cinnamon now. I think it's amazing. How does it stack up against Xfce? Completely wrong person to ask, because Xfce is my baby. It's my thing, and I like it very, very much. I always have. I've always been an Xfce fanboy, and yes, I know these days it's older, and I know Plasma's really well optimized, and I know that Cinnamon has got all the bells and whistles, which is fantastic. But oh my god, is he frozen me? Son of a bitch, I'm stunned. You know, and I mean, it's stuff like this that just makes the whole game magic and alive. And as I say, once you start deploying mods, you lose all of this, because all of a sudden it doesn't take you an ice age to get from A to B. All of a sudden you don't care how long it takes you, and you know, you're not having to be picky about what you're carrying anymore. Yeah, I am going to have them actually. And I'm going to put these on here. I don't know about the shoes, but anyway. I just think that you know, to play the game absolutely vanilla is just amazing, and I think you do get the proper experience. Whereas I think once you start modding, you lose all that. Yeah, that's better. Xfce. And I just think, you know, to do a proper vanilla playthrough would be so cool. And you'd experience the game as they intended you to experience it back in 2002. With all the frustrations, all the limitations. It's personal preference. Classic style DE. Others like modern. Yeah, I agree. I think everything comes down to that, Jeff. You know, it's whatever you prefer at the end of the day, and it's not for anybody else to tell you what you should or shouldn't be using. You use what the hell you like, what works for you. Me, I'm just an Xfce fanboy, and I'm just very, very grateful that Linux Mint does a really nice, beautifully themed Xfce out the box that just works. You know, it's little things like when I go full screen, you know, the desktop bar disappears. On Zorin it didn't. You know, it's little niggly things like this, and you know, you have to put it to auto hide, which bit of a weird one, it really is. And also although I've selected that text box window is always on top. On Zorin, when you're in game, if you put your mouse, you know, anywhere near the text box, it activates it in itself. So it is for sure something that Zorin have done to the operating system without a shadow of a doubt. Me and KDE never got along well, so I stick with Xfce. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong, but like Jeff said, some love KDE, some love tiling window managers. Knock yourself out. It's what I think. The thing is here is that if you can ditch Windows and go to Linux, why would you not? I get it that there will always be people that cannot make that transition for whatever reason. I get it. But let's be honest, the majority of home users can. It's just that they can't be asked, is the bottom line. They'd rather do nothing and stay on Windows 10 than enjoy the beauty and the benefits of Linux. And you know, unfortunately, no amount of banging the drum or telling them how amazing Linux is going to make the slightest bit of difference. You may as well, you know, drag your dick out, stand up against the nearest brick wall and just piss in the wind. Because somebody who is just cannot be fucking arsed. You know, you're never going to change that. You can try. Believe you me, I've tried. But you're just wasting your fucking breath, you know. So now these days, if people want help, I'll spend hours helping them. If they don't want help, fine, no problem. I'm not going to force anything on you. Okay, so let me just see, what time is it? 3 PM. We could wait here until healed. What time is it now? 4 PM. So we only needed to wait an hour. The only thing I'm worried about is the dungeons. I'm worried about how pitch black they're going to be, and I mean, at the minute it's not too bad. This is not going well at all, just saying. I don't know if this is because I'm... There we go. There was, if you're in on high position, then you might struggle a bit. I think that's all leather, isn't it? And the chitting dagger is of no interest to us. Can we wait until healed? We can't. We'd have to go back outside. We've got no potions, have we? No. Jeff Key. Well, we might pick some potions up, who knows. You cheat on dungeon lighting with one of the... Yeah, you can do, but I wanted to try and see if it was doable, Jeff, in its vanilla state. And I think that it really adds both to the immersion, the atmosphere and the experience. I'm probably going to die to this mage here. There you go, look, fucking one-shot me, really. Some bitch. And I should have... Oh, I did Jeff Key here. So I have no idea how I'm going to beat him. Something about minimum interior lighting or something like that. Okay, no worries. Well, I'm going to do a master save there. We're obviously way too low a level as a newbie to be tackling this dungeon. Let's just have a look, see if I can find that setting. I'm assuming it's under settings. The other thing I haven't changed is the interface. The GUI scaling factor, I like to make that 150. Show effect duration, blah blah blah. Change dialogue topic color. Can zoom in on maps. Show enchant chance. So I'm guessing it's not going to be under... Post-processing maybe, auto exposure speed, view distance, I've got fog selected, I've got the shaders. I can't see anything, Jeff. It doesn't mean to say it's not there. Shadow map resolution, enable player shadows, blah blah blah. Lighting method shaders compatibility. Well, I can't see anything there. Doesn't mean to say it's not there, but I can't see it anyway. No, I certainly can't see anything. As I say, it doesn't mean dick diddly shit. But anyway, miscellaneous. Testing is to water load, isn't it? That's on the show effect duration. Can zoom on maps, show enchant. But there's nothing here about lighting. You'd think it'd be under shaders, wouldn't you, really? Show end objects, GUI, font size, show effect. We can make the font size 18. So, I mean, I don't know where that is, unless it's in this menu here, which is possible. Options, there we go. So it's now much better, much more readable for me. There's your audio, there's your preferences. That's why I was struggling, because I normally have the difficulty on newbie, which is what I am. Video window, oh, here we go, and it should be 1920 by 1080. VSync is off, post-processing is on. Detail level, bilinear wants to be trilinear, entropy 4. Water shader on. Reflections on and on. Texture quality high. Jesus. Dense and lights. Shaders per pixel lighting and on. Minimum light distances. Bounds for minimum interior brightness. There we go. So let's set that to 25 and open it. Hope it's not blasted it. Let's have a look at that, see if that helps. Yeah, that's much better. Thanks, Jeff. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, I'm just going to save that there and do a master save there so that we can have some fun when we go into the mighty world of Morrowind. I mean, so there you go. So there's the 4 games. I'm happily on the Linux Mint. Not what I was hoping. I was hoping to stay on the Zorin, but there's just too many reasons not to stay on the Zorin, if you know what I mean. Linux Mint is just that good. It really is that good. And as I say, it was a simple, easy affair. I've done all my thumbnails ready. Yeah, I know I'm not particularly talented in that department. That's the Fraint, of course, the tier 3. And I've just knocked up some quickies. I can't, because I've bought over all the backups off of the Zorin. So let me just put that down there. So if I go into YouTube Thuns, I've got all the ones in here that I was using. And believe you me, I've got gazillions of them, and it's the Zorin and blah blah blah. These are all now pretty much redundant, and as you can see, I'd already made my Elder Scrolls Morrowind ready and good to go, which I really like, but Zorin OS. So anyway, I even put the little expansion. Anyway, so that's all backed up, and I've got that with me. I am learning how to back everything up properly, and not only back it up, but also test to restore as well. Yeah, I've done a Star Trek Online as well. I may well add that in because I really do fancy that as another playthrough. It just means that I'll have to recreate the thumbnail. I don't know if I've got a thumbnail. No, that's all the other different thumbnail. Oh, of course, it's in originals, isn't it? I saved them all to a folder I made called originals. So here's all the original artwork. So it should be a relatively straightforward affair for. There it is. So yeah, so I could quite easily Linux Mint that and use that. So I might bring Star Trek Online down tonight because I really do like that as a series for 2026. And I think we've got plenty of gigage left. 238 gig left on the 500 gigabytes. So let's just see how big. I can't remember how big Star Trek Online really is. Yeah, they're all because of the thingies. That's why. So if I go to settings and storage and remove that. Yes, please. So that's what you're actually looking at. 4 games installed because I really don't want to run them off of SSD. So let's just have a look at Star Trek Online. See, I could bring that down tonight while I'm asleep before Jeff does his live stream. Star Trek Online, well, it says it's 520 meg. It's not, it's gigs. But we could install that because I really do like that game and create the desktop shortcut. Yep, there we go. So I could add Star Trek Online there. And that's my game selection for 2026, which honestly, there's hundreds, if not thousands of hours of game time right there. So we've got tons of content. Star Trek Online, and I think if I'm right, I'm using experimental, which should be fine. So yeah, I've kind of ended up on Linux Mint, and again, it's also so easy to transfer the disks out of this PC into my backup PC should I have a hardware failure. So we covered all ways round, aren't we, really? And as I say, with me doing all the backups and then testing to restore, hopefully there shouldn't be a single reason why we'd need to come off Linux Mint throughout the whole of 2026. Fingers crossed. And I think that is probably downloaded already, but yeah. But the thing is, then it has to update via the client. That's all right, we can leave that there. So if we run it, mark it as executable. It's just little things like this that you get so used to with Xfce. And I think Linux Mint do such a wonderful implementation of Xfce right out the box that there's very little for you to do other than to set it up how you want it, install all of the software that you want to use, your games, etc., and you're good to go. You're done. What else is there really? So I'll redo that Star Trek online as a Linux Mint thumb. Hi Heath, how are you? Lovely to see you. So there you go. For those of you wondering, the cryptic launcher's launching, that's fine. Why I'd suddenly changed from Zorin back onto Linux Mint. That's why, really. And as I say, I've got all my apps installed that I need. GIMP, OBS, oh yeah, Discord. That's it. I don't really need anything else. Welcome back, and nice to see you. So as you can see, although I'm live streaming, that is updating, and it should run and work just fine. What happened to CachyOS? I busted it 3 times, and I was also getting fed up of the gazillion updates every day, which is arch. There's nothing you can do about it. Again, whereas on Linux Mint, to update it once a week is more than plenty enough. Whereas on CachyOS, there's a gazillion updates. I mean, the kernel were nearly updated every day. The drivers were updated all the while, which is what you want as a user of the operators. It's great. And don't get me wrong, I think the CachyOS dev team do an amazing job. It's just too much for me. Linux Mint is just the de facto go-to Linux distribution for Windows users. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. And you've got a choice of Cinnamon, Xfce, and Mate right off the website. So there should be something there for most people. If you're not happy with that, you can always install KDE, or you can install your own tiling window manager, whatever you want. But I think, for the use case of an Windows user who wants to double left click something and something happen, who just wants to have their PC work day in, day out, and have everything function as it should with minimal intervention by or from you, then I don't think you can beat Linux Mint. It's fantastic. Manjaro, yeah, it's another Arch-based distribution. I've got to figure out which files I need to upload to OneDrive before. Yeah, please make sure that you do backup. And I'm the world's worst for banging on about backing up. This is normally done and dusted by now, but it's because I'm live streaming. But anyway, so there you go. I'll bring my Star Trek down, so I'll run Star Trek online, along with my other 4 games, and that's it. I'd just leave it and let it run forever. The only other thing I need to bring down is my VPN, so I can watch my dodgy boxes, but I can do that when I've got time. It's no biggie. So there you go, everybody. So shut it, okay. Ebeez is back on the Mint Xfce distro for life. Oh, we've had £1 for every time I'd said that. I could retire a very wealthy man. But hopefully, anyway, for the whole of 2026, we'll just be on the Linux Mint. So there you go, everybody. I did feel it warranted a live stream just explaining everything. I hope you all stay safe and well. Enjoy the pants out of your Linux. If you need any help and you want help, I'm here for you. If you don't, fine, not a problem. Much love, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful evening all. Cheers now.